So, if you've been waiting for the first real sign that the Samsung Galaxy S27 series is on the way, this is it, because a new GSMA database listing has appeared, and it's giving us an early look at what could be Samsung's next flagship lineup. According to that GSMA listing, we're seeing the model number SIM-S95TU, and that specific code is being linked to the carrier-locked US variant of the Galaxy S27 Ultra. Now, to be clear, a database listing isn't a full spec sheet, and it doesn't confirm every rumor floating around, but it's one of the strongest early indicators that the Galaxy S27 lineup is real, progressing through the usual registration steps and moving closer to launch. And yes, if Samsung sticks to its typical release pattern, all signs are pointing toward a February 2027 announcement window. Let's break down everything this leak suggests, what it could mean for the Galaxy S27 Ultra, and the biggest rumored upgrades coming to the S27 family: the display, performance, camera improvements, battery capacity, and the pricing concerns that could follow. Confirmed Galaxy S27 lineup, 4 models expected first. Let's talk about the lineup, because this is where things get interesting. Based on what's being reported alongside the GSMA entry, Samsung is expected to launch 4 models in the Galaxy S27 series: Samsung Galaxy S27, Samsung Galaxy S27 Plus, Samsung Galaxy S27 Pro, Samsung Galaxy S27 Ultra. That structure matters because it shows Samsung is continuing a tiered flagship strategy where the base model targets mainstream buyers. The Plus brings a bigger screen and battery, the Pro sits in a premium sweet spot, and the Ultra stays the no-compromise device for power users. If you're the type of person who buys the top model every year for the best camera, the biggest battery, and the most advanced features, then the Galaxy S27 Ultra is clearly the one to watch. But the real story might be the addition and positioning of the Pro model, because Samsung could be reshaping the lineup to better compete with other premium phones that sit just below the Ultra price bracket. GSMA listing details. Why SIM-S95TU matters. Now let's zoom in on the big detail. SIM-S95TU, Samsung's model numbers are usually a reliable clue. The U suffix typically points to US carrier variants, meaning the device is likely intended for networks like Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile rather than an unlocked global model. So when a code like SIM-S95TU shows up in a GSMA database, it usually means Samsung is preparing the product for official market rollout, certification, and regional versions. In simple terms, this isn't just a random rumor from nowhere. It's one of those breadcrumbs that tends to show up when a phone is in the pipeline, and that's exactly why the Galaxy S27 Ultra conversation is heating up right now. Display tech. Could Samsung use BO OLED panels? Samsung is basically the king of smartphone displays. Even when other brands improve, Samsung's OLED panels are still the benchmark for brightness, contrast, color accuracy, and overall polish. But here's the twist. Rumors suggest that some Galaxy S27 models may use OLED panels sourced from BO, not just Samsung Display. If that ends up being true, it could mean a few things. 1. Samsung may want to diversify its supply chain, so it's not depending on only one source. 2. Samsung might be trying to control costs, especially if component prices rise in 2026 and 2027. 3. Samsung could reserve its very best panels for the Ultra, while using alternate suppliers for specific models or regions. But even if BO panels appear in the lineup, don't assume it automatically means a worse display. What matters is Samsung's calibration, quality control, and the exact panel grade they choose. Either way, you can still expect the Galaxy S27 series to push premium visuals, sharp resolution, smooth high refresh rates, deep blacks, and strong outdoor brightness, because that's become the Samsung standard. Performance. Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 6 Pro versus Exynos 2600. Now let's get to raw performance, because this is where Samsung usually splits the fanbase. The Galaxy S27 Ultra is rumored to feature Qualcomm's Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 6 Pro. That name is a mouthful, but the expectation is simple. It should be a top-tier flagship chipset focused on faster CPU and GPU performance, better AI performance for on-device feature, improved efficiency for battery life, stronger thermal management for sustained gaming and heavy workloads at the same time. Other Galaxy S27 models could use Samsung's own Exynos 2600 in certain regions, continuing Samsung's dual-chip strategy. And if you've been following Samsung launches for years, you know exactly what that means: Snapdragon in some markets, Exynos in others, and endless comparisons right after launch. The good news is that Exynos has been improving, and Samsung clearly wants its in-house chips to compete seriously at the flagship level. The bigger question is whether Exynos 2600 will match Snapdragon not just in peak performance, but in long-term efficiency, heat control, camera processing, and battery drain under load. No matter which chip ends up in your region, the Galaxy S27 series is expected to deliver a fast, fluid experience, especially with One UI optimizations and the kind of hardware Samsung reserves for the S series: camera upgrades, faster, more stable autofocus. Now let's talk about what most people actually care about: the cameras. One of the most repeated rumors around the Galaxy S27 series is improved autofocus, specifically through upgraded motors designed to make focusing faster, steadier, and more reliable. That might not sound flashy like 200MP or 10x zoom, but autofocus is one of the biggest real-world differences between a phone that takes sharp photos instantly and a phone that misses the moment. If Samsung is improving autofocus motor performance, you could see benefits like quicker focus lock for moving subjects, more stable focusing while recording video, better low light focus reliability, other focus transitions for cinematic style video for everyday users. That means fewer blurry shots of kids, pets, concerts, sports, or night scenes. For creators, that means cleaner video focus and less hunting. And with the Galaxy S27 Ultra expected to be the camera king of the lineup, Samsung may also bring additional enhancements in image processing, stabilization, and telephoto performance, though those details aren't confirmed yet. But even just a major autofocus improvement could be a bigger upgrade than people realize, because it improves almost every camera situation without you needing to change settings. Battery: Galaxy S27 Ultra rumored 6000 mAh. Capacity: no, here's one of the most exciting rumors. The Galaxy S27 Ultra could feature a 6000 mAh battery. If that happens, it would be a serious jump, and it could completely change the daily experience for Ultra users. A bigger battery doesn't just mean more hours, it means less anxiety when you leave the house, more screen on time for maps, video, and social media, more reliable performance for gaming and camera use, better long-term battery health because you're not constantly draining to zero, and paired with a more efficient chipset, especially if the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 6 Pro delivers on efficiency, the Galaxy S27 Ultra could become one of Samsung's best endurance phones in years. We don't have confirmed battery sizes for the Galaxy S27, S27 Plus, or S27 Pro yet, but if Samsung is increasing capacity on the Ultra, there's a good chance the rest of the lineup will also see battery and efficiency improvements. Expected launch, February 2027. Now let's talk release timing. If Samsung follows its usual flagship schedule, the Galaxy S27 series is expected to be unveiled in February 2027. That's consistent with how Samsung has positioned its S series launches early in the year, setting the tone for the Android flagship market. And if the GSMA listing is already appearing now, that lines up with how early device identifiers often show up months before official announcements. So while we still need more leaks, more certifications, and eventually official Samsung teasers, the timeline feels realistic. Pricing warning: memory costs could push prices up. Now here's the part that nobody loves, but we need to talk about it. There are concerns that rising memory and component costs could lead to higher pricing across the Galaxy S27 lineup. This isn't just a Samsung issue, it's an industry-wide trend. As phones get more powerful, storage gets faster, RAM increases, camera hardware improves, and AI processing becomes more demanding, the cost to build these devices goes up. If memory pricing rises in particular, Samsung may have to choose between keeping prices stable but limiting base storage, or upgrading increasing prices to maintain specs and margins, adjusting which features stay exclusive to the Ultra model. So yes, the Galaxy S27 Ultra could be more expensive than previous generations, especially if Samsung truly delivers a bigger battery, upgraded cameras, and the top-tier Snapdragon chip in key markets. Final expectations: what the Galaxy S27 series is shaping up to be. So, here's where we stand, the GSMA database listing specifically referencing ZIM S95 strongly suggests the Galaxy S27 Ultra is moving through official channels, and that the Galaxy S27 series is progressing toward launch, and based on everything being reported so far, the big expectations for the Samsung Galaxy S27 lineup include a 4-model lineup: Galaxy S27, S27 Plus, S27 Pro, and S27 Ultra. Potential OLED sourcing changes, possibly including bow on some model. Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 6 Pro rumored for the Galaxy S27 Ultra. Exynos 2600 expected on other models in certain regions. Camera improvements focused on faster, more stable autofocus. A rumored 6000 mAh battery for the Galaxy S27 Ultra. Likely February 2027 announcement window. Possible price increases due to rising memory and production costs. No, the big question is this.